A few weeks ago, I went to hang out with the wonderful folks over at the Mackmyra Distillery in Sweden. They were kind enough to show me around the distillery, and I took you along for the ride. Welcome back, Dram Fam, to the Whisky Diary. So before we get going, just a few housekeeping bits and pieces. Firstly, I was not paid anything to go here. They've always been really good to me, as since I started the channel. They reached out very early on and, said if you ever want anything, let us know. I've always been on their marketing list. They send me free samples and stuff like that whenever they have new releases. They reached out and said if you ever come to Sweden, you let us know and we'll hang out. And that's exactly what happened. I've always wanted to go to Sweden. It's a beautiful country, and for my birthday, me and my fiance decided to go over there for the week. We spent 2 days up in Gävle with the Mackmyra guys, and then we headed back down south and spent a few days in Stockholm before coming home. So I was not paid to be here. This was not a press trip. They did not cover any of my expenses. This was all off our own back. Because of that, I want to say a massive thank you to the guys at Mackmyra, especially Fredrik, who took a whole day out of his schedule to show us around the distillery. So Fredrik, thank you so much for that. But anyway, let's get down to business. We've come to just outside Gävle, which is a town about an hour and a half north of Stockholm, and this is where the Mackmyra Distillery is located. Mackmyra were originally distilling out of a distillery about 10 minutes away in the town Mackmyra, where the whiskey gets its name. But in 2011 built this facility here, which was built with sustainability in mind. Historically, a lot of distilleries work horizontally, where each stage of the process moves along the line. This is very much the same, but they've tipped it on its side. It's a gravity distillery. The raw materials are brought all the way to the top of the distillery, and from there everything else works on gravity. This is Fredrik. Fredrik is the manager here at the distillery, and he has offered to spend the day with me, showing me around the place and talking to me about their whiskey and what they do here.
The whole distillery was designed by engineers, and they were quite wild in their thinking, and the opportunity to build a brand new distillery from the ground and up, from the first brick to the last one, instead of just doing what everyone else has done for the past 400 or 500 years regarding building a distillery. It actually all starts up here in the distillery, but before it starts up here, we are using, since we're doing single malt whiskey, we are using barley, water and yeast.
That's it.
That's it.
And it's all Swedish?
It's all Swedish. The barley is grown in the region here. The water is coming from the ridge behind my back here, 700 meters away from the distillery. And the yeast we are using is regular baking yeast from a suburb to Stockholm. About 1.5 to 2 hours away from here. So we try to keep it as local as possible. And when we're going out to the little kiln, you will also see the peat that we are using. That is break just 45 minutes away from here. And this is actually the only place where we add energy in order to move the product between the different production stages. So if you look in here, there are small shovels here. Each of these contains 2 kilos, 1.8 to be exactly. But they're coming up here like a conversion belt, tip it over down to big sieve, shaking it clear so there is no branches, leaves or small stones. So we got the clear and clean malt down to the little mill. Of course, we would love to have one of these old Porteous mills, but they went out of business a couple of years ago. So we had to turn our head to Germany. So this is German precision. Doesn't look much to the world, but it's 1,500 kilos, 1 hour and 20 minutes. So it's very efficient. So when the malt come into the distillery, it looks like this. And when it passed through the mill, it becomes grist, and it looks like this. And it's about 70% is the core of the malt, 20% shell, and 10% flour. And that's the kind of mixture we have to have in order to, when we add water, otherwise it will be like cement in all the pipes. So you can see, it comes all from the top, falling through the mill. We have 2 sets of steel rolls that crush it, and then when it passes the mill, it becomes grist and just keeps falling down. We don't have to need to add any energy at all, just using gravity force. This is what I think is the most boring part of the distillery. Nothing happens in here, but we have our grist container where we keep it, but we also have our brewer tank number 2. And this contains 97 degrees hot water. So you can feel the heat in here. It's very hot in here. And that's container, or this tank here, reflects the heat inside. Because the silos where we keep the malt on the outside, they are not insulated. So during winter, when it's like 10, minus 15 degrees, even the malt is pretty cold. Yeah. But bring it in here in the distillery, we crush it into grist, bring it down here, and it sits here in this hot room. We kind of preheat. Now it's getting a little bit more fun. So we start always, each batch, we start with 1,500 kilos of grist or malt, and then at the first step we add 6,600 liters of 65 degrees hot water. Fill up the mash tun and then slowly start to stir around. After about an hour, we start to let out this wort, the sweet wort, approximately 3,000 liters. And at the same time, we add another 2,800 liters of 95 degrees hot water. And that's from the tank above. 97 degrees up there. We lose 2 degrees on the way down, so the striking point is 95 degrees here. So this the mash process takes approximately 4 hours. We do it in 2 steps. First with 65 degrees hot water, then with 95 degrees hot water. And when we're done here, we get 8,200 liters of wort. The rest, the draft, we are sent that off and it will become biogas. So we are actually reusing the rest product that we're creating.
Very cool.
So when we're done here, it's like 50-55 degrees hot. We cool it down to 20 degrees before we fill our fermentation tanks. Otherwise we will kill the yeast. Yes. So let's go into those. And we are using regular baking yeast for sweet doughs.
Is it hard? Oh wow, it's literally like butter.
Yeah. Fresh yeast. So this is the same kind of yeast you can buy in the grocery store, except they sell it in 50 grams package. This is 1 kilo. So 24 of these.
24 in one?
Yeah, in each batch. And then the fermentation process starts. I always split it up in 3 parts. The first, when I add the yeast, it looks not that appetizing. Stage 2, like a big white foam, and when it's done, it's like amber, dark honey, just sitting around in the tank, and smooth and very nice. And then we're up to 5% ABV.
Excellent. Okay, so that's what, and you distill at 5%.
Yes, this is what we call our organ. From here we control everything with water and emptying and filling all the tanks. And what I think is most interesting here is our heat exchangers. We are producing heat, we are using heat, and we try to reusing heat as much as we can as well. So the one in the middle here, we take care of the heat in order to give heat to the distillery as well as to the visitor center. But I think this one is probably the coolest one that really points in the direction how we are working. with cold and heat. Because what we call here processvatten, it's the water from the outside. It's coming in, and since it's from this old sand ridge, far down below, very cold, 4 to 6 degrees, all year round. And for us, it's not just a wonderful, great water, it's also free cold. So what we are using here, we're taking the water from the outside, going through this heat exchanger where it meets the wort. Because we have to cool that from 50-55 degrees, cool it down to 20 degrees before we fill the fermentation tanks. And here we got free cold, and this water is the water that's supposed to go up to 65 degrees in our brewer tank number 1 and 95 degrees. So we got like 50-55 degrees for free. We got our wash still, 10,000 liters, special made for us by Forth Site in Scotland, as well as our spirit pot still, 8,000 liter. They are approximately 1 inch thick. They are both heavy and expensive, I can tell you. So we always start in the wash still. We run that below 100 degrees, but above 97, and we can control that real good. And we put in 8,000 liters to start with, and what we get out from it is 4,000 liters of the low wine spirit. So half of the what we put in are gone here. Well, from the wash still, we goes on into the spirit pot still. We run that a little bit lower temperature, 88-90 degrees. And the first drops that are coming, the head, it starts above 80% in alcohol strength. And then we do the cut between the head and heart, approximately 74.2. Might be a little bit slightly different because...
And very delicious.
Yeah, it's very delicious. And as you know, we are using our noses, so it might be not set at 74.2%, so it can be a little bit variation depending on the taste as well as the smell of the heart. The spirit from the low wine pot still or the wash still ends up in that we call the intermediate tank. The head and tail is also going back into the intermediate tank where it's mixed with the low wine spirit. So it actually run it twice in the pot still, in the spirit pot still. The heart is collected in the middle tank. And here is magic where it happened. This little lever here, you push it aside. Right now it says head and tail. But when it says heart, or in Swedish, the heart, hjärta in Swedish, head and tail, huvud och svans. So when we run the spirit pot still, we run it down to 3%, then we turn everything off. And after that we got quite a lot of heat left in the low wine, the wash still, as well as in the pot still. We're collecting the leftovers in our pot ale tank. And this is working as like a thermos. So we are saving the heat that we have already generated. And then we run it through that heat exchanger over there where it meets the mash. So when we fill the wash still, we actually are up to like 80 degrees before we even push the start button, saving a lot of energy.
So it's at this point that Fredrik taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, you're going to make the cut. For those that don't know, the cut is when you decide at what point in the distillation process you kind of choose what gets put in the cask, and then kind of everything else either side, the heads and the tails, they go back in to be kind of redistilled. So, I mean, for me, that was quite a privilege. That's not something that many people actually ever get to do. So I wasn't really sure. I just kind of threw my camera at my fiance and said, Fran, film this. So I apologise for the bad focus because I didn't actually set the camera up. So that was really, really cool. Anyway, that's that.
Right, okay.
Just pull the lever.
So literally just grab it and flick it all the way over.
And that's it. I have to say, this was an incredible experience. Getting to stand at the stills while the staff are tasting and checking for exactly where the cut. So Mackmyra, everything is done by taste and smell. So being with them saying, try this, is it ready? Try this, is it ready? And go, now this one, that's when it's ready. That was really, like, genuinely one of the most interesting experiences of my life. So I got to sit around, chat with them for a little bit, try the new make as it was coming off the stills, and that's where we're going to leave the episode for today. Coming up in part 2, we go and check out their kiln, we go and check out the warehouse, and I got to fill a cask. We then got to go over into the bar, sit down, taste a load of whiskies, and that is everything you've got to look forward to in episode 2. But anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you all very much for watching. If you've liked this video, please do drop a like down below, and if you'd like to support the channel, please do consider subscribing. Let me know down in the comments below if there are any distilleries you think I should go and visit and produce some more of these kind of deep dives into the distilleries and get a, you know, private tour, a bit of the behind the scenes. And on that note, Slàinte mhath.